Alright, welcome back to another Omni Garage video. So today we are doing something a little bit different. We're not focusing on a specific product. We are talking about everything that we use in our wheel cleaning process. So we've made separate videos on this, Brake Buster, which is like the versatile wheel cleaner that we go to pretty much every time. And then also Car Pro Retire, which is a dedicated rubber cleaner, which we use when wheels are looking something like that. So this is a great product if you have a brand new tyre and you want to prepare it for your initial tyre dressing, or if you have a really neglected tyre that needs to be revived before you go and apply your tyre dressing. So we've got separate videos on the channel of both of those products, but more of this is going to be focused around the products that we have in this Yeti bucket here, all of our detailing tools that we use specific to wheels. We've got a whole bunch in there. So what we'll do is we'll pull the cover off this wheel, because these haven't come off in close to 60,000 kilometers. We're going to have a pretty dirty wheel under there, and we'll just walk you along our process with a specific focus on the tools that we choose to keep in our bucket here to make wheel cleaning nice and easy. Okay, so for us, if I think about one of the most essential tools that we use when it comes to cleaning wheels is the pressure washer. You definitely don't need this for washing your car. It is a really nice luxury to have, but with things like some of the amazing rinseless washers that we've had on the channel lately, you don't need a pressure washer to get a good clean of your car, but in order to get a good clean of your wheels and a really deep thorough clean, pressure washer is key. So we've got the Karcher K5 over there. It doesn't matter what you have, having pressure to be able to get into these rotors, get into your brake calipers and just blow out all of that brake dust is key. And then the other thing, if you have your pressure washer, foam cannon. So this is the MTM PF 22.2. Heaps of videos on the channel about this, but we have a dedicated one here. This is one of our older ones, which has Brake Buster in it. So Brake Buster being our wheel cleaner of choice. Go and check out the video on the channel where we talk about all things Brake Buster. But first part of the process for us will just be rinsing off these wheels, giving them a really good blowout to try and get all that brake dust off there. Once our wheels are clean, we are using our quick disconnect here, taking our nozzle off, so handy, popping on our foam cannon, and we are spraying on Brake Buster. There's no particular dwell time we're trying to leave this on here. The main thing we want to do is get really good coverage, so we've got that really deep into the wheels, into the barrels. We also like to get a bit around the arches as well, just to make sure that when we go to our wheel tool bucket, we've got enough on the surface so we don't have to revisit the foam cannon. Now, a product like Brake Buster, we can spray it straight up. The reason why we foam it onto the wheel is a few different factors. Number one is it clings on nicely with that foam, so we get really good coverage across the wheel. Number two is because we've got that really good coverage, we get good cleaning power. So if we're spraying this on, we're really going to have to work in all the nooks and crannies on here to try and get good coverage of it. And then the third reason is to give us that lubricity as we come in with our wheel tools to clean the wheel. Again, if we're spraying on here, we're not getting much foaming out of it, so we don't have much lubricity with the product at all. We find that foaming it onto the wheel gives us really good coverage. It makes it really easy when we come in with our wheel tools. Now, when we're thinking about the wheel tools we've got in the bucket here, we've got a few. These are what we deem probably the ultimate kit of everything that you would need to clean any type of wheel. You certainly don't need all of these, but if you can have all of these, there'll be no wheel that you won't be able to clean. So a little bit difficult to see this one here. This is the Easy Detail. Easy Detail?
Easy Detail wheel brush.
Wheel brush. We've got two of these. So we have a large one, and we have somewhere in here a small one. So the reason why we have two of these is the first one, we'll show you, right? So the first one we use, kind of our process is to just start with the wheel arches here. This reaches in quite a good distance and just helps us clean any fling might have gone in there. And then the other use for this is to get really deep into the barrels. So think about how wide your tyre can be for this to reach in. And generally what we do is we just start from the bottom, and we're just going through each spoke and just agitating the surface of the barrel in there. What you can do, if you haven't cleaned your wheels in a while, you may want to get your pressure washer back out and then just rinse this off as you go. We like to keep water in our wheel bucket here, so we can go and add that back in. Again, just to get some more soap on there for that lubricity, but you probably don't want to keep revisiting that to rinse off your tools, because that water is going to get extremely dirty very fast. One of the great things about this easy detail brush is we've got the caliper here, right? And it gets in behind, because this folds down, we can get really good cleaning power behind that caliper, because it just kind of molds to the size. And this is where you want that smaller brush. So if I just put that one down there for a second, the smaller detail brush is handy because we can get into spots that we can't with a big one. Now, on a car like this, not as important, but if you have a car with really big brakes, you know, if you've got some 6-pot Brembos up front, there's no way you're going to get that bigger brush in there. You're going to need this in order to get anywhere behind your brake calipers. So I think this is something that we didn't have for a very long time. It's something new we've introduced, but when you're cleaning something like the Range Rover wheels, you haven't got much to get in with the spokes. It's the other benefit here, you can get inside some of these areas, but if you're dealing with big brakes, you definitely want to have that as part of your kit as well.
And plenty of companies make those brushes, so you don't need to buy the easy detail. You could go and buy, I think Chemical Guys also sell a 2-pack of those.
They do.
They're all very similar, different colours. CarPro have got a range of tools like that, so plenty of your favourite companies sell products like this. Go and grab a couple of brushes. Super handy with making sure that we do a real nice deep clean of the barrels and in between spokes, etc.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the easy detail for quite a long time, so we can probably talk to the longevity. We did have one of these recently where the handle did snap off, but we'd had that for about 4 years. So, I mean, 4 years out of a brush like this, I think is pretty good. But I don't know, if we had to buy again today, I'd be willing to try pretty much any one that you've just described that's on the market. Next step for us on the wheels would probably be getting some brushes out. So we've kind of found that we like to use, got them somewhere in the bucket here, we've got a big one and a small one. I'll just rinse these off so we can show you. So these are brushes from
Detail Factory.
Detail Factory. Now, Detail Factory make a whole range of brushes in different sizes, different colours. What we thought kind of made sense is, because we've got different brushes for other utilities, black brushes will work really well for cleaning wheels. So I think this is like a Bors here, and we've got a smaller one and a bigger one. Very similar to the Easy Detail brushes. They have their own advantages to where you want to use the big over the small. You know, if you really need to reach quite far in here, the big one's handy because you've got a lot of room on the handle. I find quite often I'll just go to the smaller one here, and it's really handy to do things like this, right? You can get in all of these areas, agitate it.
And for these types of brushes, it seems to be that Detail Factory tends to be the gold standard in this area at the moment.
Yeah, I just like the range that they've got, how you can kind of get them in any colours. So we've got interior brushes from Detail Factory as well that we have in purple, because we're using purple towels for our interior. Just matches up quite nicely. I don't think you need 2 of those in your bucket. I think you could probably get away with just having the bigger one here. But it's key to get around some of these areas that your mitt wouldn't get nice and easily. Definitely to get around the areas like this.
We sort of have 2 of everything, so that when Glenn and I are both doing a car, we can each have a wheel each.
Yep.
And we don't have to share the tools. We can just grab and go as we need. So we tend to have double of everything.
Double ups in the bucket, yeah.
But I mean, you just doing it, you know, every now and again at the weekend, then you probably don't need double.
You don't need double of these. And I mean, this is really handy as well to do your calipers. So you can get behind here and try and clean anything that Easy Detail brush wouldn't have got on there. Just allows you to get in. There's no way with your mitt you're going to be able to get in some of these areas, because that can get pretty much all the way up there behind. Really key, really affordable as well. So you probably do want a couple of those in your bucket. So this is another product. We've had a similar style to this for quite some time. So this is a Lambswool mitt. So it opens up, you can pop your fingers in there. It's really nice contours to the surface that you're working on. This is actually a new edition. It's got the little hanger on it. These are from the Rag Company. So they sell these in a 2-pack. So we've again got 2 in the bucket here, because they came in a 2-pack, but it's super handy because then when Glenn and I are washing together, we've got 1 each. I just find that these are really handy. You don't have to use it as a mitt. You can kind of just hold it, just like a little car wash sponge, really. I just find these are really handy.
And the issue with the old ones is that it used to be really hard to try and find the opening.
You couldn't.
So the guys at the Rag Company have actually stitched the end of it together, so that you can really easily open it.
Yeah, this is really handy, and the way that we kind of use this.
Good little addition.
If you do have your fingers in it and use it like a mitt, you can use the front and the back. So the way I kind of clean a wheel like this would be just starting like this, and then you can go in these spokes, and you're getting both sides, come here, there. Whereas if you're using it more as a mitt like this and you're holding it, you do have to flip it, and it can just be a little bit more awkward. But I find the size of this really handy. I don't know your thoughts on this.
Well, initially it feels quite strange, doesn't it? It's like, oh yeah, sort of a four-finger mitt kind of. But then when you use it, it's nice. You can bend your fingers around the spokes. You can clean the back of it. Oh yeah, really like it. We've used nothing else other than that for basically our entirety of the business here, so fantastic.
Yeah, I like on this, when you do use it as a mitt, just how you can be washing this spoke and then go straight to that one by just putting your hand back, rather than doing this like going like this. I just find it's really convenient. These hold up really well, so they go in the washing machine with all our microfiber. They go in the
I'm tripping over my seat bag.
That crate's going to cause issues.
What do you reckon?
Crate's been nothing but good on the channel.
So do you know what the funny thing is? I got like a $3,000 Viper chair that I imported in from the US. Had to get like an import license and everything to get it here because it's so expensive. It's got, you know, Omni Garage basically embroidered on the seat and everything. It's got all the attachments, all the side stuff, all the wheels, the tool tray and everything underneath. I never bring that thing anywhere, eh? It sits in the garage as like basically the throne that no one ever sits on, and I bring the beer crate everywhere I go.
Do you know what? The beer crate serves a double purpose though, because you fill it up with stuff to bring here.
Yeah, I bring all my stuff.
You empty
for the videos, yep.
And then you use it to sit on, stand on, do whatever you do.
Trip over on.
I think the issue with your Viper chair is it's not meant to go anywhere. It's too big. You need the.
I can't fit it in the car, and it rolls around, and it's too heavy. So I just bring that, and it's good because I can sit on that side. I can flip it over. I can then stand on it to get to the roof of other cars that we're doing. It's just multi-purpose weave.
Funny.
I should invent one, eh? Like a beer crate that's got like a little pad attachment on it.
You could put some casters on there too.
I could.
Scoot around on but that.
This was had Spates in it once upon a time when we were watching the
Spates?
the Bathurst. Yeah, Bathurst. Yeah,
Bathurst, probably like 4 years ago.
Spates toolies in there.
Yeah.
Ooh, a couple of snags on the Barbie. Beautiful day.
Anyone would think we're big drinkers, but no, we just drank one crate
between the two of us.
Exactly, over like a 3-month period. We couldn't smash it all on Bathurst Day. Next tool for us on the wheels would be probably another one from Detail Factory here, which is, I really like this. This is a nice upgrade to our kit. This is the tire brush. And I love the rubber handle it's got on it. It's quite rough, the bristles,
but soft enough.
Yeah, soft enough that if you are working a wheel and you accidentally hit something, I mean, you've got rubber on the sides, you're not going to do any damage there. I mean, these would scratch your paint, but they're soft enough that you'd have to like give it a pretty good go. One of the things I like on here as well is it's got the hanger. So once you finish washing, you can just hang these to dry. I quite like that. This is just a nice feeling product. It sits in the hand really nicely. And the purpose of this is we've got Capro Retire here, which is our dedicated rubber cleaner.
And I would only use this Capro Retire if I bought a brand new pair of tires, you know, and that would be, you would use it as you were setting up the tyre dressing for the very first application.
Yeah, the reason we're using it today is because these wheels have been neglected. So you can see immediately we're getting some browning on here. So yeah.
And or maintenance periodically. So over a couple of months' time, I would then come back, revisit the retire, give that rubber a really nice clean, removes all the dirt and grime, and prepares that surface perfectly for you to then apply your tyre dressing.
Absolutely. If you're keeping your car clean regularly and keeping the wheels clean regularly, brake buster is sufficient. You can spray this on here and you get some pretty good cleaning power. These haven't been cleaned in a while, hence why we're introducing Retire today. And this brush is just so easy to use. This is a, what's the size of this tyre? It is a 45?
You've covered it up.
It's a 45.
225 by 45,
yeah.
19.
So like this would be perfect on a 35. I bet on the Range Rover, you're running like a 35 or a 40 on there, that would fit like the whole thing perfectly. Whereas on this, you do need to kind of wipe here and then go to the top.
And then if you had thinner tyres like the Subi, we're running 40s on, we're running 30s, 35s, 40s on there, so it's fine on small wheels as well.
Now, given the amount of browning on there, absolutely no way I want to put that back in the bucket. So hence why the pressure wash is handy again here. Rinse these out. And what I do at this stage is typically rinse the wheel and be done with it. I'm going to rinse the wheel and revisit it again with retire and this brush here, just due to the amount of browning that we have there. And what you'll see is the second time around, this is not a retire video, but may as well talk about it while we're doing it. Second time around we should get less browning. We'll still get some. Goodness, I'm not a fan of the sprayer.
No, the sprayer is, I get why it's a foaming sprayer, so you can foam it on so that it clings and dwells, and it's supposed to get better coverage with it. But
we talk all about that in the retire video, don't we?
CarPro sprayers of the past haven't been the greatest, and they have made some new sprayers, and let's hope that they continue to develop that area, because that's something they need to improve on their products. But you can see now that second application, the wheel is not as brown because we've removed most of it, but this just sort of assures us that that surface is nice and clean to apply a tire dressing.
All right, so I'll rinse this off now, and then we'll kind of show you the end result on this wheel. Keeping in mind, this video was more about showing you the tools that we use rather than doing a really thorough deep clean on this wheel, because there are some marks on here that would require probably some tar remover in order to get off, but we're about to cover these alloys up again with the Tesla wheel covers, so I'm not too concerned about getting it really deeply cleaned. So I've rinsed them off. What I'm talking about is probably where the rubbing has happened, where those wheel covers actually connect to the wheels inside here. You do have some marks, they are rough, they would come off with Tarex. If this was the final finish of the wheel and we were leaving it like this, absolutely we go deeper on here, we get the brushes out, we probably get Tarex as well and try and deep clean. But keeping in mind, from here to here, like literally the only thing you're going to see on that wheel is going to be the rubber of the tyre. So much cleaner than when we started. There are a couple of other things that we can talk about here which I think are really key to making your wheel process enjoyable. You absolutely don't need them, but this here, the Yeti bucket, is not the essential. For me it is the, goodness, we're locked. It is the casters. Like having this bucket dolly and being able to work on your wheels and move from this one to this one here and just be able to push this bucket around. I think this is super handy. We've got these on all our buckets, and this has made my wash process so much more enjoyable. I know Glenn still hasn't cracked into his. They're sitting in his gear.
I have all the flasher stuff in my place, and it sits on the floor in the bedroom, and I never use it.
Don't use it.
And I have all the old crappy stuff that I just continue to use, and I can out detail most people anyway with my old stuff.
You know what? This is something you're missing out on.
You reckon?
You are missing out on this.
No, but do you know what it is? I've got brand new buckets sitting at home, you've got used ones.
Yeah, do you know what though? I had new ones. I used them for a couple of years. They became old. I sold them. Yeah. I paid like $30 to upgrade to the new ones.
Good on you.
So, you're missing out for the sake of $30. You're just waiting for some vinyl though.
Yeah, I want some nice vinyl.
Once we've got vinyl, you're using them, right?
And I need a better setup at home before I get wheelie buckets out. I want some bigger casters with some proper locking mechanism on them as well. Yeah,
what's frustrating a little bit about these is they could do with some bigger casters, which is pretty easy. We can swap them out. We just find very lightly contoured driveway here, but when we do lock these, occasionally they will want to disappear on you.
And then it's just really hard to try and find where you've locked it. So, so some bigger casters would be nice.
Bigger casters would be key, but I just think that this setup here makes the process so much easier, so much more enjoyable. You're not having to lug it around as you go. The only other thing really that needs to be called out on this tyre would be the brush that we use to apply our tyre dressing. So what we'll do, we'll dry this off, get it to a point where we can apply some tyre dressing, and we'll show you exactly what we do for that process. Okay, the final tool that we're using is another brush. Now, I'm not necessarily attached to this, it's just the one that we've been using for the last few years and it hasn't given up on us yet. So this is a Race Glaze XL detailing brush. To be fair, Glenn behind the camera is using a Detail Factory brush.
I'd go get a Detail Factory brush and use this.
Go get one of the bigger ones. You've got the same kit as I do in that bucket basically, and Glenn only has one of these brushes, one of the Detail Factory ones in the bucket, and he uses the other one for the tyre dressing. So I got the two in the bucket and we're using this one. you don't need a race glaze.
Basically what we're doing is we're using this brush as an applicator to apply our tyre dressing.
Yep.
You don't need a brush at all. You could then go use a sponge, or you could use a curved sponge that fits around the tyre. You could use a microfiber pad or whatever you want to apply. We prefer a brush, and this is how we do it.
Yeah, so basically what we're doing with our tyre dressing is we're just spraying it into the brush here. So we're not doing it from a distance, we're just allowing it to accumulate in there. And then we're just using this to evenly apply our tyre dressing across the rubber. What I do like about using a brush is you can get into the this crevice between the alloy and the rubber, but there is a good product from CarPro. I used to use it years and years ago, something that you've started to use again recently. It is the tyre applicator block. It's contoured to the wheel. I think that's another fantastic option, but what you do need with that is the right diameter tyre. Like, it doesn't work very well on a
better on a tyre with a higher profile on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So something like a 45.
Yeah, if you're running a 35, like,
forget about it. It's just not thick enough.
So the brush is handy. Like, I've used this on we had a Mazda CX-5 with I think it was a 255 55. Like, this works good on a 55 because you can kind of just slap it all around the place. But we're just reapplying there. Being careful to not get too much on the face of the wheel as you go. You do get a little bit using a brush like this. Occasionally you'll get those bristles across onto the face of the wheel, which will mean that you want to wipe that up when you go and flatten this off. But this is the final piece of our, I guess, our wheel tool arsenal.
And just very briefly, we're using the tyre dressing from Obsessed Garage.
Yeah.
We like this because it's sprayable, it's got a nice blueberry scent. It doesn't last very long, so you're gonna have to reapply this every couple of weeks, which is fine for us because we're washing vehicles at least once a week. If you want something with a bit more longevity, we use something called CarPro Dark Side, and that will give you a couple of months of tyre dressing on there, so it's a bit thicker, smells awful, a little bit harder to work with, but there are some options. We've made a video on tyre dressing specifically. Go check that video out if you want more of a deep dive into that. Yeah, I mean, we think this is probably the best right now, but if you do have any other suggestions for anything we should get our hands on, we've got a couple on the way right now, but we're always open to punting the product if we find something better that comes along. So that's pretty much it. Those are the tools that we are using in our wheel bucket in order to get a deep wheel clean. As we've said through the video, you do not need all of those. You may choose, hey, look, I want these 2 or 3. But look, if money's no object and you're going, hey, what are the products that I should buy? Those have done very, very well for us for a very long period of time on all sorts of wheels as well. I think if I was to probably rank them, I would say that you want the Easy Detail, the big one. That's really key. You can get a lot of the wheel done with that. You want at least one brush and the Lambswool mitt.
Lambswool mitt. Yep. I think that you could probably work with just those, and if you added an extra one onto that, would probably be that Detail Factory tyre brush. I think that's another one that would be nice to add. Everything else, the double ups, the smaller brushes, the bigger ones, I think those are all nice to have.
And you need 2 cleaning products. You need
a rubber cleaner and a wheel cleaner.
Well, you don't need a wheel cleaner, you need a tyre dressing.
Oh, a tyre, okay, yes.
You need a tyre dressing and a wheel tyre cleaner, which is basically Penny's Brake Buster.
Yeah, because to be fair, Brake Buster would do our wheel and our rubber. If we were doing it regularly enough, we didn't need to do that deep strip. And then, yeah, you have to have a tyre dressing of some sort. Just none of those spray ones, please, guys. No foaming, no wet look.
You want to be controlled about this, because what happens is you've just finished cleaning your wheel. You got it looking nice. Then you go and spray this gluggy stuff all over the front of the wheel. Then
everywhere.
Then you have to go and wipe that down, and you end it on the driveway. If we spray that stuff on the carpet, because we've got a carpet lined garage here, it leaves these glazed half donut, half circle looks where we've done it. That's the same. If you're applying tyre dressing on your driveway and you get it on the concrete, you're going to have these 4 half circles. So just be careful with that stuff. It does stain, so that's why you want to be a bit precise with it. Spray it onto the brush, spray it onto your applicator, and be careful about it. That's how we do it.
The one product you definitely don't want to use on your tyres, someone told me they did this recently. They didn't have any tyre dressing, so they went to the kitchen and got some canola oil. You do not want to do that. I was told it looks fantastic, it looks great, they look shiny. But yeah, we're not roasting a chicken out here, so keep away from the canola oil. Anyways, that is what Omni Garage are using for our detailing setup for our wheels at the moment. If there's anything else you think we should try, or better products of the ones that we've got on the wheel bucket at the moment, let us know in the comments. We're always keen to pick them up, give them a try. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.